Good evening, everybody. Sammy Thunder here. Welcome back to the channel. So, I know that there are a ton of Willie Mays collectors out there. And there's a lot of different type of Willie Mays collectors. Some people really crave after being a player-run builder, so more or less, in this case, Willie Mays, building the entire Topps and Bowman runs. And also, there are some out there that just love collecting all types of Willie Mays and building the entire possible set of Willie Mays cards out there. But it's interesting to see the dynamics between the Topps and Bowman cards versus a lot of the other issued sets that exist out there, a lot of the issued cards from variable sets. And what I found interesting was that when you look at the early days of Willie Mays, in particular 1952, you see a huge shift in price in terms of the Topps and Bowman versus some of the other oddball issued cards that exist. But then as the years progress, we start seeing a shift in the other direction in terms of some of the oddball cards that exist start outweighing in value. And I want to know what you guys think about that. So I put together a presentation that will kind of showcase this more in detail. I took the best representation of prices that I could and put some charts together for you guys to check out. So let me bring that up. All right, so we have the 1952 year, and if we start looking, I picked 5 cards from that year in particular. So we start with the Star Decal from 1952, Type 1 in an authentic. I also picked the Bowman 52 Willie Mays in a PSA 4. Continuing that, I showed the 52 Burke Ross Willie Mays in a 4. Then we have a 1952 Topps Willie Mays in a 4.5. And finally, picked out the Redman Tobacco 52 in a PSA 6. Now, looking at these 5 cards, how would you weigh them in terms of value? Like, which one would be the most valuable and which one will be the least valuable in terms of price? So I did that. We broke it down a little bit. We found the Star Decal cost $1,620. The Bowman, $2,275. The Burke Ross, $2,160. Get ready for this. The Topps, $12,600. And the Redman, $1,835. So if you look at the early days of Willie Mays' playing days in 52, now Topps 52 being one of the most recognizable sets in collector history, it's pretty astounding that a PSA 4.5 with that centering that we saw went for $12,600. And everything else doesn't even come close to that. Now, what do you guys think? Is there something about the 52 Topps set that just makes it a lot more desirable? Is it the Mickey Mantle 52 that really elevates the Mays and other cards? What do you guys think? Love to get your thoughts on that. So we're looking at 52. That's the first stop on this. Let's jump to 54. So we are introducing the Bowman 54 Mays in an SGC 4. The Redman 54 Tobacco in a PSA 4. The New York Journal American in a PSA 3. The Stahlmeyer 1954 in a 1.5. And finally, the Topps 1954 Willie Mays in a SGC 4. Now, by looking at all 5 of these, how would we identify which card is the most valuable versus which is the least valuable? The results are very interesting to see how much of a difference 2 years makes. Let's take a look. Let's start with the Bowman 54. The Bowman 54 costs $465. The Redman, $390. New York Journal American, $645. The Stahlmeyer, $3,675. And finally, the Topps, $511. So in 2 years' time, we see a huge shift outweighing the Topps and Bowman, and a lot more collectors seem to desire some of the oddball cards like the New York Journal American and the Stahlmeyer. To go even further, we look at the comparison between the two charts and we start seeing a huge shift in interest. You can see the Topps 52 completely dominates in 52, and the Stahlmeyer completely dominates in 54. If we look at a percentage difference, the Topps between 1952 and 1954, a 95% decrease from $12,600 to $511. A Bowman, we saw a 79% decrease, going from $22.75 down to $4.65. And if we're looking at the Red Band, a 78% decrease as well, from $18.35 to $390. Let's go even further than that. Let's look at 1959. So I picked out the Bazooka 1959, the first issued Bazooka set, in a PSA 6. Looking at the Home Run Derby of Willie Mays in a PSA 5. A Topps 1959 Willie Mays in a PSA 7. And finally, the Topps Venezuela PSA 5 to round it out. Let's take a look. What do you guys think between those four? Which one is the most valuable? Which one is the least valuable? Let's break it down. The Bazooka in a PSA, was it a 6, I believe? Looking at a $3,500 transaction. The Home Run Derby, $6,000. The Topps, $708. And the Veni, $2,510. Very interesting to see the dynamics between, as the years progress. Let's bring the phone back. Okay. So it's very interesting to see how the years have progressed. As you go from 52 all the way into 59, and I'm sure it continues into the 60s, you start seeing a huge shift in value in terms of the Topps and the Bowman in the 50s. And then I'm sure if you carry into the 60s, you see a shift in prices for the issued Topps cards. What do you guys think? I have my ideas. The 52 Topps in particular, it being the most widely recognizable set out there amongst collectors. I mean, or even non-collectors, you can ask them about the 52 mantle. It's common knowledge at this point that that card is a significant card in the hobby. Even if you're not really in the hobby, you know of that card's existence. So does the 52 set kind of play into the value, being that that card is recognizable, everybody knows that set, it becomes a very desirable card. So the Mays, by proxy, also becomes a highly desirable card, especially in the condition that you saw it in, a 4.5, but amazing centering. So you start seeing a huge shift in the oddball cards as the years progress. So you look at, the 54, as we looked at, we saw the Stahlmeyer was dominating the value more so than the 54 Topps. I'm sure there's many reasons why that might be. Love to hear your thoughts on it. Share what you have to say, and yeah, it'd be an interesting dialogue. So anyway, just thought I'd share some information, share some fun facts, some fun statistics about some of these cards over the course of the past couple of years to see where things shift between Topps and Bowman versus some of the food and other alternative sets out there. But thank you guys so much for watching as always. I'll catch you soon. Take care.